Probably. Yes. Oh. How elegant it is. Just don't see it.
Hey everybody, it's me, Alex, and the clip you just saw at the start, that I just threw onto the start of this video, is of the hunt riding out, because that's apparently a Boxing Day thing, and it is indeed Boxing Day, which means it's December 26th, in this case a Tuesday. So yeah, I didn't blog yesterday because it was a holiday, and I hope you had a happy Christmas if Christmas is a thing you do, and if it's not, I hope you had a good Monday, and maybe you got the day off anyway. So anyway, yeah, the hunt thing was really interesting because we had just gone into town, like not to see it, but just because we needed bread and some Coke Zero and some more beer, more on that later. And hadn't actually realized that that was when the hunt was going to be gathering, but there were like horses everywhere, which, you know, transported me back to my small horse crazy period, and there were hounds, and I got to say hello to one of the hounds, and he was super cute, and a lot of people in traditional dress on horses with, you know, there were the guys in they're not red coats, they're pink coats apparently, or that's what they're called. Anyway, so we got to hear them play the little horn and ride out, and the hounds are running ahead of them, which I did not get on the video, but I have a picture of it, and I'll post it as like the start picture for this because they're super cute. And to note, like, part of why I can feel enthused about this without feeling weird about it is that fox hunting is actually illegal in the UK right now. And this is not, like, the whole hunting issue is not necessarily something I really want to stick my foot in anyway, but I just wanted to note that fox hunting itself is illegal. So according to British Mum, what they do is they actually, like, people go out and they make scent trails for the hounds to follow, so people can still, like, follow the hounds and have all the fun of a hunt without, you know, letting dogs rip a fox apart at the end of it. So anyway, that was a cool thing to see today, and it was like, it's apparently just like a very traditional thing, and the British are really into their traditions, at least in this part of the country. And I generally had a really great Christmas. I'm recovering today, and I am miraculously not actually hungover, which is remarkable because I spent most of yesterday really drunk, and, you know, there was a lot of champagne and a lot of wine, and yes, some beer, and a lot of beer on previous days. There is just a lot of drinking in this house over Christmas. That's just the way it is. That's how we go. And I've become like kind of the sad age where, you know, if I drink, it doesn't, you know, I'm not a party person. I basically am like, oh, I've had alcohol, now I will fall asleep on the couch for like 2 hours until there is less alcohol in my system, and that was kind of my day. Like, though I don't feel that bad because pretty much everyone passed out for a couple of hours and just slept. Even my little niece, who's like 3.5, we all just took a nap around the same time she did, so that worked. And speaking of traditions, so last night I watched the Doctor Who Christmas special, which is a thing I always do when I'm here for Christmas. And I have to say that I like it a lot more than I've liked some of the past Christmas specials, because you have to understand, like, before I watched this one, the most recent episode I'd watched was the Christmas special with Matt Smith that was The Town Called Christmas. That was an incoherent hot mess that I just loathed. So anything was going to seem good by comparison. I mean, the thing is, if you've never been subject to one of my Doctor Who rants, I grew up on old Who. Like, they were showing the reruns of it on, or the syndication or whatever, on PBS, where they took all of the episodes that were serialized over a week and just cut them into big super episodes. So that's what I grew up watching, and, like, actually the 7th Doctor is still, like, my favorite Doctor, for a lot of reasons. And it's not like he's the first Doctor that I watched. It's like him and the 4th Doctor are my favorites, and it's just, they're the ones that really, you know, made me the happiest. And plus, the 7th Doctor has Ace, who is still the best companion ever. And, you know, there was some stuff there that kind of got retconned, like the doctor was talking about how he was going to take her to the, you know, academy in Gallifrey and she was going to become a Time Lord despite the fact that she was human. But anyway, so like I have this really complicated relationship with New Who because I was really on board with like the Chris Eccleston season and then the start of 10, and even when Russell T Davies was running it, he started losing me, and to be honest, is because he fell into the really bad like sci-fi trap. I think it's, you know, you get it everywhere, but I think it's particularly endemic to sci-fi, where when the stakes are external rather than being made personal, there's this urge that like every time you have some kind of finale, you have to find something bigger to blow up, and the problem is eventually you run out of things to blow up. And in this case, that was when we got to the point where we're like, we're going to blow up time itself. And it just got really, really dumb. So like I was ready for Davies to go when he went, just because I was like, you have just run out of ideas, haven't you? And this is, you need to like haul it back and make it more personal and, you know, give us a reason for the Doctor to care other than, you know, like, oh my God, you're gonna blow up the world and that's where I keep my stuff, so that's bad. Plus, like, Russell T Davies managed to completely waste Timothy Dalton as Rassilon, and that's just a thing I'm never going to forgive him for, and I'll just link that rant in the notes. But anyway, so like, the problem is, at least like, Russell T Davies I was having fun with, but then when Stephen Moffat took over as showrunner, he just lost me like within a season and a half. And I have a lot of problems with Moffat because, I mean, Davies brought in like the whole Lonely God thing, if I'm remembering it correctly, for 10, but kind of part of the point of that was that the 10th Doctor was wrong to feel that way, because they're like the whole I want to say it was the Waters of Mars episode was really like taking aim at that, and then instead of being like, okay, new regeneration, let's move away from that, I felt like Moffat doubled down on it, and then plus there's all like the super sexist stuff, and just, you know, between that and like the female characters kind of being just there to flirt with the Doctor, and his, like, Moffat's got this real obsession with like the special girl trope, which is a trope I just wish I could set on fire anyway, and this is just even worse. So, I mean, I tried to watch Matt Smith, and I just couldn't. Because I just, like, I just, it wasn't even like I was watching it. I was like, oh, I'm so angry because this is sexist. No, I just got bored, and they felt uninteresting, and they weren't terribly coherent, and I just was like, why should I do this? And so I stopped watching. Other than, you know, I'd come and see the Christmas specials when I was here for Christmas, and I just, honestly, I didn't even try with Capaldi because I was like, it's still Stephen Moffat, and the way he runs the show, I have zero interest in it, and frankly, I've never liked any show that he's run. I fucking hate Sherlock. Don't tell anyone, that's why I'm whispering, because I don't want to get burnt in the stake by Sherlock fans, but Jesus fucking Christ, Sherlock is terrible. So anyway, this Christmas special, like, you know, I went in being like, oh God, it can't possibly be worse than the stupid Town Called Christmas one that Matt Smith had that was all about like the Doctor's name, which is some like Stephen Moffat bullshit that I hate so much, like more Lonely God crap. But thankfully, like, this one I felt was like way better, and there was some really cool stuff in it. Like, they had whoever they had playing the first Doctor, like, they found a good guy to do that, and that was really cool, where he had, like, you know, Capaldi's Doctor, he's what, 13? No, 12. Yeah. Because 10 was David Tennant, 11 was Matt Smith, so that would make Capaldi 12. So the 12th Doctor and the first Doctor, like, meeting up, and that was kind of cool, and you got to see, like, the two TARDIS sets in contrast, and that was super neat. I really liked the whole thing about, like, normally when the Doctor runs into some kind of mysterious or alien creatures, they're up to no good and he has to, like, stop them. And this time the alien creatures were actually up to something really good, so he sort of overreacted and was very paranoid about it, and that was kind of a fun, like, little twist on the normal trope that I really enjoyed. I really liked the doll. Like, I have a feeling that, like, reaches back into something in the series that I missed previously because I just haven't watched it. And so, like, and I honestly, I really loved the whole, like, the captain that you meet, and that he's, I'm guessing the father of, Brigadier General Lethbridge Stewart, that's a callback to Old Who that I'm just super excited about because he was always one of my favorite characters for that time period. I don't know why I liked him, I just did. You know, I was a kid when I was watching this. I'd have to go back and watch some of them again. I just have all these fond memories of him. So, like, that stuff I really, really liked. And of course, like, in comparison to the previous episode that I saw, this was like a million times better anyway. And then it got to the part where he was, like, regenerating, and I mean, I am really, really over, like, the protracted regeneration sequences, like the one with 10 where he's regenerating, but for some reason he still has time to go, like, stare meaningfully at anyone he's ever been in a room with for 5 minutes. So, like, this was, it was not as bad as that, but it was still just like, oh my god, would you just fucking die and regenerate already? Especially when it had to start out with his previous companions having a group hug with him and telling him how great he is, because, you know, there's always been this inherent arrogance in the Doctor's character, because if nothing else, you know, like, Time Lord versus regular human, and he's so much older and all that, but it's not like he needs people telling him how great he is. We either know he's great, or you haven't done your job, like, and it's just weird that the Doctor is so needy, I guess. You know, like, what was up with that? And then he goes on this, like, giant rant about, like, yelling advice for his future self, which a lot of it I was just like, this is some arrogant, like, I mean, yeah, he has, you know, the various incarnations of the Doctor have been pretty fucking arrogant, but Jesus Christ, this was just, it got really cringy, and, like, that whole part, you know, I was just like, oh god, would you please die so we can have Jodie Whittaker? And then we did, and then, you know, she got, like, her one line, and, you know, that was kind of like our preview for the next season. And I'm excited to watch the next season because female Doctor, and it's not going to be run by Stephen Moffat, so I'm definitely giving it a try whenever it makes it over to the US. But, so, like, about the last 10 minutes, I was just like, what is, you know, you were doing so well, and now, what the fuck? And then, I don't know, like, I really enjoyed seeing the first Doctor there, so and yeah, kind of, it is a bit of a joke that, like, I mean, because the first Doctor was so long ago, there is, like, some really inherently sexist shit in it. But at the same time, it was, like, just this ongoing joke that I found very distasteful that was like, oh, haha, look how sexist the first Doctor is, and now I'm, as the 12th Doctor, I'm totally not. Like, that got weird. So, I don't know, I guess if or when you see that, you let me know what you think. But I am super jazzed and excited for Jodie Whittaker. And then the other thing is, I watched, apparently there's an episode of Great British Bake Off that just happens for Christmas, and this one was really cool because they bring back people who weren't, like, the winners, but who made it pretty far. So this was, like, Selassie and Becca and Val and Paul, and I mean, all of those, they're all just lovely people, and Val is just adorable, and I just loved Becca. And anyway, like, it was really funny watching them go into the technical, and you could almost tell, like, all of them had, like, suppressed the memory of how fucking awful technical challenges are. So then they started back up, and you could just tell they were all going, oh god, it's this again, why? How did I forget? But really, it was like the showstopper was the most just stressful one I've ever watched them do, because it was like they had to make 8 snow globe cakes, which are like these fancy little French word that I can't remember right now, where it's like, you know, it's like sponge and mousse and fancy stuff. It's like really, and they make them in those little cylindrical molds, and then they had to do like a little scene on top of it, and then put a globe over it that was made out of sugar, or like in this case it was a sugar substitute, but it had to be like, you know, spherical and transparent, and just watching them make the globes was like fucking stressful. So, but I had so much fun watching that, and actually pretty much everyone in the family watched with me, and only Martin made nasty noises about it, which, you know, so I had a lot of fun. And I think, you know, continuing with Christmas traditions, the lecture series, oh, I can't remember what that's called, Royal College or something like that, lecture series is going to start tonight, so that's always fun. And I'll be watching that and, you know, crocheting. And ooh, I'm so excited because Mary Martin gave me a book of Afghan patterns. So everybody's gonna get blankets from me forever. Sorry in advance. But I'm really excited to try that. And then they also gave me a little kit for making like little crochet Star Wars dolls, which, you know, it's kind of out of my comfort zone of easy things that I can do while watching TV, but at the same time, they're so cute. So I'm going to try to make them, and they're probably going to look terrible, but, you know, I'm going to give it a shot because you know, crochet is great, and it gives me something to do with my hands that isn't stuffing food into my mouth, which was actually the whole reason I learned how to do it, so I'd have something to do while I was role-playing. So anyway, I hope everybody is having a great Boxing Day or Tuesday or whatever you want to call it. And I should have mentioned earlier that my book makes a great Christmas present, but you know what? It makes a great Boxing Day present. Hunger Makes the Wolf, Alex Wells. Pre-order the sequel, Blood Binds the Pack. Okay, that's, you know, my standard buy my book thing. I don't have to mention it for like another month. Hopefully, let me know what you thought of stuff, and I'll tell you what I think about stuff, and we'll talk about stuff. Talk to you later. Bye.